right, well, man, you guys look pretty good up here. You look pretty good up here, but I think we might be missing one thing that would make it look even better up here. What do you think? I love it. We had to be joined by your close personal friend over there. First of all, Brad, I was very impressed. You rattled that play call off like a champ. Or I guess I should confirm, John, did he get it correct?
He got it right.
Okay, good. You probably screamed it into his head so many times he can't forget it all these years later. I love it. And man, John, it's just so interesting to hear your perspective on this trade over here. You'd traded people before. So yes. What did it feel like to be the one getting traded?
Well, you saw it. It was a mystery still. I'm glad to find out what actually happened. That's what It was a game changer. A lot happened in a short period of time. My mom and dad lived in Tampa. My brother Jay went to Chamberlain High School. I was excited to come back and be a part of the city and maybe bring a championship home to Tampa.
I like it. And what do you remember your sort of order of thoughts as, I mean, you saw it was chaos, right? In dead of night as this is happening. Walk us through some of those first thoughts you had as it was materializing and you were finding it out, and then just the chaos of arriving that first day.
Well, when you work for Al Davis, that's for a completely different story. We had a heartbreaking defeat, and that tuck rule, let's admit, that was a fumble, yes? I mean, hell, Jason Light, the great Jason Light, is working for the Patriots, man. But that was a gut-wrenching, horrible way to lose a game. And I did have a contract problem, and Al Davis was hard. He was hard, but it happened just like that. Opportunity knocked. And my wife, Cindy, is sitting out there. And if it wasn't for Cindy and that fax machine, I'd be pumping gas somewhere. Love you, honey.
That's incredible. So now, Brad, tell me, you first hear Jon Gruden is going to be your head coach. First thoughts? Do we need to ask John to leave here?
You know, real quick, when I was actually playing in Washington, there's this receiver. He wrote this book called Give Me the Damn Ball. And I told my wife, I said, I would never want to play with that guy, okay? And that happened when I came to Tampa. And then I was actually watching the Raiders play, and I saw John go off on his quarterback named Rich Gannon. I said, God, I would never want to play for that guy either. So here we are. So, but that was awesome. But the thing about it, when Tony got fired, we waited for 4 or 5 weeks. Like, who's the coach? There's all kinds of rumors. And as soon as, you know, we hear 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and $8 million in cash, we think he's going to show up with a cape and he's going to play too. You know what I mean? So, but the first call I made was actually Rich Gannon. We played together in Minnesota, and Rich was ticked. He was losing his guy. I mean, they were buds. They had great success. They'd been the AFC Championship. Probably should have won that one if it wasn't the tuck rule. But Rich was real with me. He said, Brad, you're never going to be coached by a coach like this in your life. He's going to program you offensively, defensively. He's going to have you game ready like you've never been ready before. And, you know, you were with him from 7:30 to 5:30 a day. And thank you, Cindy, for letting us have him for that time. But it was a blessing for all of us. And can't thank John for being traded, to be honest with you.
I love that. And John, for you, what do you remember? How quickly after arriving here did you realize this could be a Super Bowl team?
Well, we knew they had a really good defense. They had a great defense. And they didn't have a great team because the offense just hadn't done their part. And I'm not saying I had anything to do with it, but we had to get the quarterback to play at a high level. My philosophy is the whole operation is about the quarterback. If the quarterback is successful, we got a chance to be successful. That's how I was trained with the 49ers with Bill Walsh and Mike Holmgren with Brett Favre in Green Bay. You get the quarterback playing good, and you got a chance. And I knew if we could score and get a 2-possession lead with this defense where we knew they had to pass, I knew we could get some turnovers. And fortunately, we had Brad Johnson. A lot of people don't know Brad Johnson led the NFC in passing. He had a hell of a year for us the year we won the Super Bowl.
So yeah, what were some of those first steps when now you know you're wanting to kind of turn this offense around a little bit? And I know you ended up adding a lot of parts as well. A lot of different guys joined the team. How did you manage that, and how did you kind of organize, all right, these are the steps I want to take to get this offense where it needs to be?
Well, thanks for all you Buck fans. I got to tell you what really happened. I didn't get to bring any of my offensive coaches. I already pissed off the defense by telling them, we're going to get after your ass every day. And then I had to spend a lot of time, obviously, hiring an offensive staff, teaching them what we wanted to do, getting everybody on the same page, getting some of their ideas. And then we had to get the quarterback to get in rhythm, in sync. And we brought in a lot of new players, new tight ends, new receivers, a new feature back. And it was a long, tough process. And we had to go to work every day against a great defense. So there were days I drove home at night wondering, man, maybe I should have stayed in Oakland because this is not going well. But we had a chance to get mentally tougher. We kept working. We kept grinding. And we didn't get off to a great start. We lost to New Orleans. We struggled to score earlier in the year. And when Brad came back off of that injury, man, we looked good on offense, and it really got to be fun. Didn't it, Tampa Bay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Brad, take me back to the first meeting with Jon as your coach, the first kind of set of meetings. I imagine very boring, very calm, falling asleep a lot is how I picture it. Tell me what it was like having him in those meeting rooms.
I walked into Jon's office about 7 in the morning, and he'd already been there for 3.5 hours. So he's on his 5th cup of coffee. But and we really kind of want to get to know each other, to be honest with you. But he said he took over the conversation real quick, and he said, Brad, we're going to win a Super Bowl this year. And and kind of like the clip said, he says, how's Rondé Barber and Simeon Rice and Derrick Brooks and Warren Sapp, how are they going to stop blast off to Joker right X short 22 X drive halfback burst, and how are they going to stop triple right F right 358 Nebraska X seam? Like, how are they going to stop it? We're going to declare war on our defense this year. And it was real, you know what I mean? Like, so it became, that's what we needed, was that belief of it and the selling point of it, but then the ability to be able to do it. And he sold the belief that we're going to win it, and sold the belief that a lot of words to learn along the process. But he brought that clarity. And in the clip he showed, like, the first practice, it was 9 on 7. It's strictly just a run drill, but the play was strong left, fake 14 Charlie, naked left halfback slide. And basically, Michael Pittman heads it up the sidelines, and Warren Sapp does his deal. But Sapp says, is that the way it's going to be? And Jon says, well, we're going to, take what you give, but we're going to take what we want also. So it's just that mentality. Ooh. But it's a mentality, not just, it wasn't offense versus defense, but it was a mentality of what our offense was going to need for that year, is what it was.
Yeah, and so Jon, why was this mentality, you think, right for this team at this time? Why was your approach what this team needed?
Well, I think we all have to have the same approach. We all have to have the same confidence, the same identity. I kind of felt the defense had this really good feeling about themselves, and the offense felt like, God, we're the reason we're not great. We're kind of the stepchild, if you know what I mean. So I always thought I was a really good trash talker until I met Sapp and Barber. And I became a great trash talker. And really, we had Mike Tomlin, Rod Marinelli, all these guys go on to be head coaches. But we got better. Monty Kiffin, we got better on the practice field. We became closer, more competitive. And I thought the defense started seeing the offense become successful. And they got confidence, just like Doug Williams was up here. Our team here in Tampa, my dad was a running back coach. They knew if we could hang around, Doug Williams would figure this out at the end of the game. And I think when we started getting confidence on both sides of the ball, I think that's when we took off as one good team.
Yeah, I agree. And then, man, it's not just managing like the X's and O's and the team overall. It was managing a few personalities, just a few.
Yeah. I can't manage these guys today. Hell, it was a blast.
Tell me how you approached that.
Well, it was tough. The ball distribution, whoever here calls the plays, the quarterback has to like the play, understand the play, and feel good about the play. But you got to get the ball to the man, Keyshawn Johnson. Then all of a sudden, Keenan McCardell becomes our go-to guy. And then Joe Jurevicius gets healthy, and hell, we love that guy. I started liking it. And then, you know, we got Pittman, we got Aaron Stecker, we got this guy named Mike Allstott, and now we can start beating people with different switches. And once we started to score, we got the lead against the 49ers. We got the lead against the Falcons. We get the lead against Philadelphia, the Raiders. This defense was awesome when they had a lead, man, and it was fun to watch.
I love it. And Brad, tell me, when did you know you guys had what it took to maybe be a Super Bowl team? When did you start feeling the shift that had happened?
Well, you know, what Jon said was, you know, we got he said that we got a lot of great players in here. We got a lot of great coaches, but not one of us have won a ring. You know, he called us all out. You know what I mean? It's the truth. Whether you're a rock star or a normal player, but like, if you want to go down and you want to have nights like tonight, you got to be able to, you got to bring in the trophy home. You know what I mean? So, so Jon challenged us in all those ways, and he made some unbelievable moves on offense with, you know, free agency that doesn't really get talked about. Jon made probably 17 or 18 moves on free agency, and, you know, by, you know, Joe Jaravicius and Keenan McCardell and Robin Oben, Kerry Jenkins and Michael Pittman. I mean, those are some pivotal moves along the way that just, you know, don't get talked about sometimes.
Yeah, and tell me, for you, what do you remember about the challenges of the season? Because kind of like Jon was alluding to, it wasn't just completely smooth sailing, you know, undefeated season all the way to the Super Bowl. So tell me, what were some of the big challenges that stood out and how you guys were able to move past them?
Learning the call sheet. It took a while, you know what I mean? But really to build that trust for him, for us to run off with it and be audible ready and to do those things. But, you know, the challenges that year were, you know, not only to call the play in the huddle, but then, you know, honestly, we lost to Philadelphia. Okay, they'd beaten us four straight times over the years in the playoffs, a couple times, and we knew when they'd beaten us in the middle of the season, we capped Atlanta Falcons twice. We got the home field over them in the playoffs and had beaten St. Louis and had beat Green Bay and all those kind of teams. But Philadelphia, we knew we were going to have to go to the vet. That was the challenge. That was the carrot in front of all of our noses. Like, that's what we're going to have to win at the end of the season. So he made us better throughout the course of the season, knowing if we're going to win it all, we're going to have to beat Philly at the vet.
Yeah, and Jon, you know, not many coaches have had that many future gold jackets playing for them at one time. What do you remember about those guys in particular and their reaction to you coming in as the new head coach and, let's say, shaking things up a little bit?
Well, I'll be honest, Monty Kiffin was a good friend of mine. I would come back home when I was offensive coordinator of Philadelphia or I was head coach of the Raiders. I'd go to the beach, my wife and I'd be with Monty just about every night drawing plays, drinking beer, talking about, you know, football, maybe someday working together. And we had beaten Tampa Bay 45-0. Okay, so some of these guys, I kind of would dig at them, you know? Like, I'm not so scared of you. You know what I mean? I kind of use that as a way to tick these guys off and challenge them. And even still today, I think the thing was with, like, Rondé Barber, you got to try to challenge him creatively. And the only way you can do it sometimes is to tick them off because I know how to reach them. You know what I mean? But all these guys had different personalities. They're alphas. They're great players. They have great ambition individually. They crave individual success, but the great thing about these gold jackets is all they wanted to do to win. They wanted to win, man, and they would have done anything. We practiced in a garage. Remember that? we practiced in ballroom, hotel rooms, parking lots. These guys, if I called them today and said, I'll meet you across the street on Dale Mabry, we're playing, they'd come out and play for nothing. That's what I loved about it.
I like it. All right, so for both of you now, favorite memory of the season, you don't get to just say winning the Super Bowl, that's cheating. Outside of that, favorite memory from the Super Bowl season. Brad, I'll have you go first.
Beating Philadelphia.
Oh.
I mean, honestly, I get emotional, but Jon impacted all of our lives. All right? He made us better than what we were. He made us a better team, whether it's the guys he brought in free agency or whether what he did in the meeting room, what he did on the practice field. He spurred us on. And, to beat Philadelphia, it took Jon making it happen. The two plays up there that I'll never forget is honestly the Jared Vicious play, triple F, 83 double smash, X option. And I was getting ready to check out of the play, just so people know. I was checking out of the play, and then we stuck with it, and Joe became 73-yard go, Joe. And then that play, and then honestly, Rodney Barber's play to close it out.
Jon, how about you?
Well, it's hard to say one. I remember Mike Allstott's run against Cleveland. He ran over the whole goddamn team. That was pretty good. Though, I did tell the defense in the meeting, I said, if you're so good, now we had a lot of great players. If you're so good, score 9 touchdowns. And I was serious as a heart attack. I don't know how 9 popped into my head either. Score 9 touchdowns. Sure as hell, we're playing the Raiders in the Super Bowl. This is my old team. This is like, I don't know, it's like a movie or something. And there's 52 seconds left in the game. We got the game won. Gannon throws a tip pass. Dwight Smith intercepts it, runs it back for a touchdown, almost at the buzzer. And Warren Sapp grabs me like this. He says, "You wanted 9? That's 9." That's what I remember. 9 touchdowns. I tell you too, Derek Brooks, he's the most humble guy you're ever gonna meet. You ever meet this guy? He is one humble son of a gun, man. He was the MVP too, by the way. He was unbelievable. I love that. But I'll say this, my greatest memory is Brad. He's played quarterback his whole career. He's played 20 years. He's been around the league. And it's going to be cold in Philadelphia, and the Tampa Bay Bucks have not played well in cold weather, yes? So I tell Brad, I said, "Hey, why don't you try this glove? Maybe this glove will work." And Brad says, "Nah, I don't wear a glove. I've never worn a glove in 15 years. So I look out in the field, we're practicing, he's got the glove on. He goes to Philadelphia, he throws for 265 yards with that glove on.
I love it. Well, can we thank Brad and Jon for spending some time with us here tonight?
Thank you, guys.
You guys want to walk off? Thank you, guys.